Level 1. The Hook. It was born as a military utility vehicle, engineered for some of the harshest terrain on Earth, and thrust into the spotlight during the Gulf War. But when that military-derived machine reached American civilian streets, it became something nobody expected, a symbol of wealth, excess, controversy, and cultural obsession. This is the story of how the Hummer went from battlefield workhorse to American status symbol, and why the machine that once represented limitless excess eventually became a relic of a changing era. In the early 1990s, the world watched in awe as the United States military rolled through the deserts of Iraq in a vehicle unlike anything ever seen before. That vehicle was the high-mobility multi-purpose wheeled vehicle, universally known as the Humvee. Built by AM General, it was an exceptionally capable mechanical platform engineered to navigate harsh terrain and survive demanding operational conditions. Among the millions watching the televised conflict was Hollywood superstar Arnold Schwarzenegger. Captivated by its sheer size and commanding road presence, Schwarzenegger launched a personal campaign lobbying AM General to build a civilian version. Initially, company executives questioned the viability, arguing that a heavy military machine had no obvious market on public civilian roads. Level 2. The Origin. But Schwarzenegger persisted, eventually convincing them to assemble a limited production run for civilian buyers. By 1992, the Hummer H1 was officially introduced to the public. It shared its core architectural DNA with its military counterpart, featuring wide track widths, portal hubs, and a heavy-duty diesel powertrain. The vehicle's public debut quickly became a national media spectacle. Affluent buyers and high-profile figures were drawn to the opportunity to own a piece of rugged military engineering adapted for highway use. It rapidly established itself as an unmistakable symbol of automotive excess and presence during a booming economic era. However, as the novelty of driving a military-scale vehicle in everyday environments wore on, practical limitations emerged. The vehicle's extraordinary width presented immediate challenges for standard civic infrastructure, fitting into standard parking structures or navigating narrow residential lanes required exceptional driver patience. Level 3. The Clues. Owners soon discovered that conventional service networks lacked the specialized heavy-duty equipment required to maintain its complex portal architecture. Compounding the maintenance hurdles was a notoriously heavy appetite for fuel, operating with single-digit miles per gallon figures. The H1 faced mounting scrutiny as fuel markets shifted. As environmental advocacy gained traction in mainstream political discourse, large displacement vehicles drew intense public criticism. Activist groups began spotlighting the vehicle as a prime example of unnecessary resource consumption. Public demonstrations outside showrooms added growing friction to the brand's commercial trajectory. General Motors acquired marketing and distribution rights for the civilian Hummer line in 1999, inheriting these growing public relations challenges. Yet, while critics condemned its success, a dedicated community of off-road purists defended the H1's uncompromised capability. The tension between utility and excess transformed the vehicle into a focal point for broader conversations about American automotive design. Level 4. The Rise. Seeking to capture a wider audience beyond wealthy collectors, General Motors engineered a broader brand expansion strategy. The goal was to adapt the rugged visual language of the H1 into a more accessible format suitable for suburban families. This strategy culminated in the debut of the Hummer H2 at the turn of the millennium. Unlike its predecessor, the H2 utilized established corporate truck architecture, sharing mechanical foundations with heavy-duty GM platforms. It offered greater daily usability, a more comfortable cabin layout, and familiar truck-based drivetrains. The commercial response was immediate, as buyers across America rushed to get behind the wheel. For several years, the H2 became a common sight in suburban neighborhoods and commercial centers. However, this widespread popularity also amplified criticism regarding road space and fuel consumption. While the model delivered strong commercial returns for the manufacturer, public sentiment regarding large utility vehicles grew increasingly divided. Level 5. The collapse. The market momentum for large SUVs shifted dramatically with the onset of the 2008 global financial downturn. Rapidly rising crude oil prices drove retail gasoline costs to unprecedented levels. Demand for heavy utility vehicles dropped sharply as operating costs escalated. Resale values for large displacement models faced severe downward pressure across the secondary market. Simultaneously, General Motors navigated severe financial distress, ultimately requiring federal intervention and restructuring support. Under federal oversight, the automaker was tasked with streamlining operations and shedding underperforming assets. Strategic evaluations led to decisions regarding brand consolidation across the corporate portfolio. Proposed acquisition talks with international investors faced regulatory hurdles and ultimately failed to materialize. Production lines wound down, concluding the active manufacturing chapter of the brand's initial run. Level 6. The revelation. Ironically, the very qualities that made the H1 impractical for ordinary drivers would later make it valuable to collectors, driven by limited civilian production numbers, unusual military-grade engineering, and specialized portal axles. Surviving models transformed into rare commodities. Features like the central tire inflation system and heavy-duty drivetrain set it apart from any traditional SUV ever built. Automotive historians began recognizing the platform's uncompromising engineering approach rather than focusing solely on its polarizing reputation. Because limited production numbers kept surviving civilian examples scarce, interest among dedicated collectors steadily increased. Enthusiasts began investing in restoration projects to preserve early production specifications. These preserved examples transitioned from polarizing daily drivers to recognized pieces of automotive history. The vehicle settled into a unique niche as a celebrated artifact of 1990s industrial boldness. Its history captures a specific moment when uninhibited engineering met a distinct cultural appetite. Level 7. The aftermath. The Hummer's failure wasn't simply a failure of engineering. It was a failure of timing. The 1990s prosperity and booming status culture created an insatiable appetite for conspicuous consumption. But when fuel prices spiked during the 2008 economic crisis, consumer priorities shifted overnight. The massive machines that once defined automotive wealth suddenly became liabilities. When economic shifts altered market conditions, the rapid adjustment underscored the importance of adaptability. In automotive manufacturing, manufacturers absorbed valuable lessons regarding consumer trends, fuel efficiency standards, and regulatory landscapes. Today, as propulsion technology evolves toward alternative energy, historical vehicles like the H1 serve as notable technical benchmarks. They represent an era of distinct mechanical presence that left an enduring mark on automotive culture. The legacy of the platform endures as a fascinating case study in automotive history. Level 8. The legacy. The Hummer didn't disappear because Americans suddenly stopped wanting big vehicles. It disappeared because the world around it changed. It began as a specialized tactical machine before transforming into a prominent cultural touchstone. When economic pressures arrived, the platform's initial production cycle concluded, leaving a lasting imprint on industry history. The discussion surrounding its design and impact continues among automotive historians and enthusiasts. The appeal of distinctive mechanical engineering remains a compelling subject within automotive documentation. The vehicles serve as reminders of a period when physical, scale, and mechanical character defined road presence. Few automotive experiments have matched the cultural footprint generated by this unique machine. The Hummer H1 retains its place as one of the most recognizable and debated vehicles of the modern era. Born from military necessity, transformed by Hollywood, and ultimately undone by changing economic realities, the Hummer became one of the most extraordinary automotive experiments America ever embraced.